This is the state of the nation. Ilifa Mugwanga. We are deliberate, we are reasonable, we are uncensored. The state of the nation with Henry Sally. All right. Welcome to the state of Toronto. My name is Henry Sally, and this is the state of Toronto. Before I start, I wish to acknowledge this land on which the University of Toronto African Alumni Association operates. For thousands of years, it has been the traditional land of the Huron-Wendat, the Seneca, and the Mississaugas of the Credit. Today, this meeting place is home to many Indigenous people from across the Turtle Island, and I am grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. All right, so my name is Henry Sally. I live in Toronto. This message is for you, people who live in Toronto, but also those ones who have had a chance to engage with some of the video clips that have been circulated all over the world. These video clips stem from a recent symposium that was organized by the Busoga Culture, Uganda Busoga Culture Association, in conjunction with the Global Event Services of Canada. Now, this symposium happened last Sunday. And of course, as many of you know, the Kyabazinga of Busoga graced the event. But before we go into what transpired, I have a message for the people of Toronto, specifically some of the leaders within the community who have been persecuting and crucifying Chuma Chayezra. Chuma Chayezra, amanya gamala yentege Samuel, abasinga obungi mumumanyi. Chuma Chayezra is a journalist. He was also affiliated to the National Unity Platform in Kampala before he was persecuted, before he was thrown into jail, Chitalia, for 6 months because of his political beliefs. Chuma Chayezra is a permanent resident of Canada who gained his permanent residence status while in a refugee camp in Kenya. Yagenda okujja wano nga permanent resident. And the reason why he is a permanent resident is because he was politically persecuted in Uganda. He is not the only one who has been persecuted. There are many that have been persecuted that are not in Uganda anymore. They have been persecuted for speaking truth to power. One of whom is Stella Nyanzi, Kakwenza, Rukirabasaija, and many others. Those of you who are on Twitter, you might have recognized that Bahati's family has been attacked by the state. Now, bwe mwali mu advertising a symposium ya Busoga, mwatugamba it's a Busoga Innovation Symposium. Which means, if it's a Busoga Symposium, it is also a cultural event. Therefore, it shouldn't be political. But before I delve into that conversation, I want us to listen very carefully to one of the people who has been heavily persecuted, one who has been persecuted for speaking truth to power, for saying what most people do not want to hear. Njagala n'okujjukizawo bonna abantu abapersecutinga Chuma Chayezra. Freedom of speech in Canada does not protect speech that we like. It protects speech and expression that offends us. That's why it is called freedom of speech. The speech that offends us, that is the speech that that article protects. So for those of you who were taken aback by Chuma Chayezra's expression, you need to critically engage with that stipulation that talks about freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Mu ggwanga lino erya Canada, Toronto. What does it protect? So before we go into that, we left Uganda because most people left Uganda because bali tebakyalina space for speaking. There's no space for expression, expressing themselves. Bwe batuuka wano ne mugezaako banyigiriza olw'okubanga mwe ba leaders ba UCO. Some of you have been heavily critical of him. Some of you have threatened him. Some of you are persecuting him. Never leaders abalala nga aba New African Canadian who actually went to the extent of convicting him through a press release. Nga most of them were not even at the event. They were to ku Zoom, they were deciding anti katugenda ku persecutinga Chuma Chayezra, to deciding nti yalina omusango era we distance ourselves from him, not knowing exactly what transpired because they were not there. They don't know what happened. In terms of freedom, I want you to listen to this and listen very carefully.
Women shall no longer wait for timid men to fight for the liberation of Uganda. We pack missiles in our pens and grenades in our mouths and shoot our troops at the dictatorship.
Stella Nyanzi can finally relax. For years, the Ugandan activist and poet was politically persecuted in her homeland. Now she's found refuge in Germany through a Writers in Exile program run by Writers Association, PEN.
What needs to be said to dictatorships can be said, and nobody will kill me. My body won't be beaten down, and that is what freedom means, that those of us who have voice and privilege can use these voices and privilege without being penalized for doing this, and this is important.
Nyanzi is a harsh critic of Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni, who has ruled the East African country for 35 years.
Stop oppressing Ugandans, Yoweri Museveni, go!
Nyanzi was arrested and put on trial for the first time in 2017. She'd accused the president of breaking his election promise to provide free feminine hygiene products. In Uganda, girls and young women often can't afford hygiene products. They're then too ashamed to go to school and miss out on their education. After reneging on his promise, Nyanzi called the president a pair of buttocks and his wife the...
So, that is one of the persons that has been persecuted and eventually fled her country of birth. Kubanga ayogera truth to power. Now, you advertised the Busoga Innovation Symposium. You told us that the people that were going to grace the Busoga Innovation Symposium were, first and foremost, His Highness, His Royal Highness, the Kyabazinga of Busoga. Nemutugamba nti Deputy Prime Minister Honorable Rebecca Kadaga agenda kubeerayo. Nemutugamba nti Joan Machora, the Foreign Affairs Minister, the traditional Foreign Affairs Minister owa Busoga Kingdom agenda kubeerayo. None of those people were there. Even the Honorable Ruth Achieng, Jean Ruth Achieng, the commissioner of Uganda in Ottawa, was unable to come and grace the occasion. Teyabaddewo, His Highness the Kyabazinga found himself engulfed among two government ministers, both women. Kitegeera. Omu Minister of the Presidency, omulala third Deputy Prime Minister. Now, many of you have been prosecuting Chuma Chayezra, have no idea what happened. You have seen a lot of clips going around, but what you don't know is that Chuma Chayezra, prior to the event, he was actually marketing and promoting that very event. This guy promotes almost every event that happens in Toronto. Nero okuba kati yavuddeyo n'ayogera bye mutayagala, ne musaba nti you are going to persecute him, you are going to character assassinate him, you are going to career assassinate him, you are going to intimidate him. The guy has received death threats. The guy also ended up in hospital. And you think nti mugenda ku intimidating abantu abali e Toronto from speaking their mind. That is not going to be accepted. Temugenda kutusirisa Uganda, mutusirise ne mu diaspora. If Mr. Museveni is sending people here to disseminate his propaganda, his NRM propaganda, they have to be mindful when they come here. By no kutegeera, audience kijengendamu. How should I deliver the message? Even when it's coming from government. Any person who fails to understand their audience, they are bound to be disappointed. Katinga oyo mukyala, Minister wa the Presidency, she was clearly clueless of the audience she was delivering her speech in. First of all, she was booed throughout her speech. Most of the people abambuinze baendinza up nga badduse n'okudduka, table zonna ne zisigala nga ziri empty, because what was supposed to be a cultural event turned into a political one. Now, some of you are wondering, who is Chuma Chayezra? This is Chuma Chayezra, in case you don't know who he is.
Kubibyamu nga twaniza Kyabazinga wa Busoga ebyokulya eby'Nansi ebyaffe emmere yaffe eŋŋanda ensoga egenda kubeerayo kamaala.
Right. So that is an advert that Chuma Chayezra made promoting that event. He called everyone, Abaganda, Abasoga, Abanyankole, mwambale byonna traditional wears. Now, most of you have been prosecuting him. This guy left Uganda as a refugee. He ended up in a refugee camp in Kakuma, in Kenya. Right? Kati oloza yagenda ne kanzu nga ave Uganda. Omuntu adduka for his life. Do you expect him to carry a traditional wear? Mulyoke mutandika prosecuting ante yabadde mu kanzu. I heard someone referring to his clothes, nti wabadde yambadde ngoye za the Valley Village. It doesn't matter ngoye ki ze yabadde ayambadde. The guy was peaceful at the beginning of the conversation. By the way, let me tell you, let me give you the chronology of what transpired at that event. Twatuusa ku event, first of all, mwatugamba yagenda kutandika ssaawa 8. It did not start until after 7. Abantu ngo badda bali awo balinze. Ekyokubiri, eno message egenda Abaganda bange ne bannyina z'Abasoga. You have to fight for your Kyabazinga. Bategese omukolo guno. But there are a few things that stood out for me. Nzenga one of the organizers. So like organizing a cultural event. Let's take a flaga ya Busoga. Abasoga temuyina flaga. Flaga ya mulwaki tebagitaddeko. Kyabazinga bw'otunuulira entebe gye bamutuuzizzaamu yabadde ng'eya baby shower. Ng'atudde n'abaministers babiri bombi baminisita ba Mwami Museveni. Minister of the Presidency, the Minister of the Third Deputy Prime Minister. Naye ya government ya Museveni. Busoga tena ba traditional leaders. Lwaki Joan teyazze? Now, let me tell you what I think. These are my speculations. First of all, I have first-hand information. Nti organizers by event eno bafunye emitwalo 4 eja Canada. That is why they were able to pull off giving free food to everyone who attended. Naye kweje emitwalo 4 tebasobodde kukolako stage ya Kyabazinga kutulanga Kyabazinga nga king wa Busoga. Bwolaba ka stage ke bamuwadde, bwolaba background gye bamuwadde ng'alinga atali Kyabazinga, ng'atudde yekka nawulidde ennaku ne ngamba no. Ekintu kino kyappeninga kitabwe tewali flag. First of all, bwe yazze batuyimiriza omwaniriza, which was good for me. Nabadde ndi excited about cultural leaders. Excited about cultural leaders because without cultural leaders, there is no Uganda. There is no Uganda. We need our cultural leaders, but we need to revere them. Kyabazinga yabadde muwambe. Yabadde atudde mu minisita wa Mwami Museveni babiri. Omusajja atunga talina kyayinza kukola. He's a 33-year-old guy. Abadde agenda kukola ki? Bamuganya okutambula ne ba ministers be. He traveled by himself. Mutambuza mutya Kyabazinga by himself. It doesn't matter why yabadde mu first class yenkanawa. Mutambuza mutya Kyabazinga ng'ali yekka. Tewabadde Basoga bamubugiriza. Babadde n'emitwalo 4 kye kyabalemesezza okukola stage ennungi enyirira. Kiki kyabalemesezza okuteekako security okukola ki okumakinga sure nti no nga Kyabazinga atambula n'ekitiibwa. Lwaki atambula yekka? He's a young guy. Of course, I know kubanga alina ba peers be bamanyi. Bamutambuza yekka. There's no security. Olaba ne bano bagundi abategeka zino zigundi. Just here abantu babadde the day before babadde mu Afrigo. Nga waliwo VVIP. Ne waliwo ne regular. VIP ne regular. Nga gwatudde no mu gundi mu basic. Kizibu okuyingira eri mu VIP because there is some kind of barricade. Tomala gayingira yeri. Kitegeera. Omuntu otegeka otya omukolo gwa culture gundi leader notateekawo barricade on protecting nga leader n'omutuuza ku ntebe ya meza y'abantu 3. Kati before that kansooke tuyite mu protocol katono nnyo. Kyabazinga bwe yayingiddeewo, we did not even at first sing the Busoga anthem. The MC had to be reminded nti otuuzizza abantu nga tebayimbye na Busoga anthem. Okwo kwabadde kumanyira Basoga. Era Mwami Sebuliba, thank you so much. Mwami Sebuliba yabadde akwata gundi video. Nabuuzizza Mwami Muwanguzi yabadde atudde next to me, bano tebayina national anthem. Lwaki tutuula nga tebayimbye national anthem? So they come in, Mwami Sebuliba yabagambye ne bajja ne balyoka ne baddamu ne batuyimiriza. Mind you, babadde batuuzizza Kyabazinga. Ne baddamu ne bamuyimiriza. Ne batuyimbiza oluyimba lwa Uganda, ne balyoka batuyimbisa ne tukatuyimba ekitibwa kya Busoga. Teyayimbye o Canada. Naddamu n'atutuuza nga tuyimbye o Canada. Kyokka nga Canada yeba hostings. Those are all mistakes. First of all, temuyimbe ekitibwa kya Busoga. Ekyokubiri, bwe mukomyewo ne mukiyimba, musoose kuyimba oluyimba lwa Uganda, mfo ky'okusooka ekitibwa kya Busoga. Ne mulyoka muzzaako oluyimba lwa Uganda. Ekyokusatu, temuyimbye o Canada. On top of not having the Busoga flag there. Busoga ina flag. Lwaki temwagitaddeko? Canada ina flag. Lwaki temwagitaddeko? Even Uganda has a flag. Kale musinga mubadde mugamba nti no, kale ne Uganda mwagitaddeko. Now I know that you guys had conditions from the government. Tugenda ba sentence, these are the stipulations. Kyabazinga ina kutambula yeka. Teri traditional leader yena mulala agenda mugoberera, teri ba ministers be mugoberera, agenda kutambula na ba ministers ba Uganda. Bajje batubulire about Uganda nga bweri peaceful, Uganda's economy nga bweri the fastest growing in Africa. Moreover, the person who was very arrogant and militant in delivering her message was the Minister of the Presidency, at least Gundi Muwako Liwe, the third Deputy Prime Minister. Muchalo ye at least yabadde ne political intuition nategere no audience jendimu message eno newankubadde ngenda jiwa kanjikyuseemuko katono ebirenga ekyali yemu gye nina okuwa naye nga njiwa abantu bemanyi nti nno bano baaki ba Canada. My friends, we need to be mindful when we go in such instances. Now, let me show you what happened. I don't want to waste a lot of time. So let me show you what happened. And this is from my perspective. I know you have seen so many other videos. This is from my perspective. All right. So, oyo mwami yabadde Chuma Chayesu. Chuma Chayesu bamaze okwogera. Oyo Minister of the Presidency bwe yamaze okwogera. Chuma Chayesu n'ayimuka. N'agenda we yabadde n'amugamba mulekerawo okulimba abantu. I need to speak my mind. I need to address the Kyabazinga. At first, yabadde ayimiridde. So, this is the truth of the matter. Of course he was upset. Of course yabadde munyiivu. Naye, although he was assertive in the way he approached the Minister of the Presidency, he was not violent. He was assertive and he was somewhat intimidating because he's a huge guy. So Jamuamvu, of course, we are going to be intimidating, but he was not violent whatsoever. He was not violent. In fact, he realizing that because of his height and his physique, he could be intimidating. Naf Kamira Nagamba, I want to address the Kyabazinga. Nino bulumi njagala kwogera ne Kyabazinga. Lwaki mulimba abantu? Nze bansiba emyezi 6 ekitalya. Lwaki mulimba abantu? Kawuma bamukube essasi ne bamutta. Lwaki mulimba abantu? Nabukenya bamutta. Lwaki mulimba abantu? Even Katumba Wamala himself got almost assassinated. Ojote wano mu Canada, mu Toronto, n'otugamba nti Uganda eri peaceful. Nga Segirinya ali mu nkomyo. And so many others. By the way, the city where NUP, I am not a member of NUP. I am a member of People Power. City member wa NUP. So see what is a good Chuma Chayezra kubanga muloza and NUP. City NUP. I want transformative change in my country. Transformative change in my country. That cannot happen without us, especially people in the diaspora. Bagala unity. That are truly conscious of what we say. This is very serious. You cannot sing unity when you're alienating others. You cannot sing unity when you are character assassinating one, when you are career assassinating one. And I'm saying these things deliberately because ekintu ekyasinze okundisappointing yeleeta yavudde mu New African Canadian, the leadership of New African Canadian mwamazemu nnyo amaanyi. Mutuula mutya wansi on Zoom ne muwandika press conference convictinga Chuma Chayesu nga temulina na facts. Some of you are not even in the province. How do you sit down and write such a bogus press conference? So a press release convicting Chuma Chayesu. How? Clips of the videos without context. Against the muscle, and you sit down and you share, disseminate that information among over 300 people. That information, we same media age picking up. Do you know that would be career assassination for Mr. Chuma Chayezra? Kubanga buli muntu agenda omuhiring ajja kusooka abuuze who is Chuma Chayezra. Agenda asange that bogus information online about him. What is even more disappointing, one of the leaders of the New African Canadian has a master's in social work from the University of Toronto. Boberanga, you cannot comprehend the systemic issues that surround Black men having a record of having such rhetoric online. Social work. This is your field. You should know this better. First of all, we negotiated in n'abantu kugundi. Abantu abadde bagala okwarrestinga Chuma Chayezra abakubidde police bagala bajje barrestinge Chuma Chayezra. These people actually went ahead ne bakubira Toronto police. Mbweje arrestinge Chuma Chayezra. Chuma Chayezra is not a bad guy. Chuma Chayezra is passionate about the peaceful governance in Uganda. Of course, he was frustrated by the minister's speech. The guy spent 6 months in Chitalia. Gwalioba kumukomera for 2 days, or for 1 day. Olyoko tule wanso wandike press release. Ojiwe munno disseminating among over 300 people. How irresponsible is that? How irresponsible is that? Omwana oyo yagala abeere wano abonebone nga tafuna mirimu. Lwakubanga you sat down without thinking critically about this issue. N'owandika press release eyo negenda mu mawulire. Nga n'omuntu gwowolereza Minister of Presidency in Uganda. The very government that he fled away from. Mwagala okusibisa omwana w'abandi afune record. Do you understand the repercussions of a Black man having a record on his file? Abirenga tachasobola na kuyita vulnerable sector gundi. Check. Abirenga tasobola na kuvuga Uber. Tasobola na kusomesa. Tasobola na kola mirimu gino giri basic because of that vulnerable sector. You want a Black man to have a record on his file? Go omuntu yasoma social work from University of Toronto. I'm very disappointed. I am very disappointed. For what? Kuchi, kunsongachi. I'm going to sink Chuma Chayezra by writing this. I mean, people can vent on WhatsApp, but when you write such a seemingly formal press release, once it gets picked up by media, nengira mawulire nga bakotinze kinene ku gundi, one of those media gundi zenalabye blogs. What happens if they quote you as well? How are you going to feel in 10 years time? Walaba Chuma Chayezra abuliddwa omulimu e Canada. How are you going to feel? Some of us I wasn't intending on getting like this emotion about this. I was so disappointed. I had a conversation with a couple of my friends, with a couple of my colleagues, betuli ku WhatsApp group, Home is Uganda. And we deliberated about the issues. Then later on, regular, I'm watching, I'm seeing a press release, and I'm like, yo, mubantu bona executive ya New African Canadian yo nate mwaba demonta aina critical thinking kuloza ku kintu ekyo gamba ati banna ekine kintu tukikola. You are preaching unity ngate you are like alienating one of us. You're talking about mental health as one of your values, yet you're causing someone more mental health distress or mental distress. It's not even mental health. It's mental distress. Come on. Already mwabadde mu bullying online. That guy has been like circulating online everywhere. Instead of standing with a community member, you're trying to alienate him. Nze nabadde ntudde ne Chuma kya Yesu ku ntebe, same table. I saw the frustration gye yabaddemu. And this guy endured the whole speech. He endured. Yatuddewo n'awuliriza omukyala n'ayogera paka we yamaliriza. N'abasaba n'agamba bane mumpe akazindayo nange njogere nnyonnyole ekyabazinga obulumi bw'endimu. Ne bamumma akazinda. Bakamumye. Kyokka ng'ate ba-preaching freedom of expression. In the very speech they talked about freedom of expression. I'm like, what do you even mean freedom of speech, freedom of expression in Uganda? Nga muli wano Canada mumuganye okumuwa akazinda. Kyabazinga musajja watu yatunudde bwati ng'ayagala ndowooza okuwulira Chuma kya Yesu kyalina okugamba naye ng'ali mu buwambe. Ali mu baminisita babiri aba Uganda. Baleaders be bonna bamuganye okutambula nabo. Abanaye twerwaneko. Cultural leaders tubalwanirire, abasoga tulwanirire Kyabazinga, abaganda tulwanirire Kabaka, abatono tulwanirire Omukama. Bano abasajja tebalina kye batwagaliza kirungi. This is serious. Batandika when they start alienating our cultural leaders like that. Kutambula n'abantu. This is not a good state of affairs. It's not a good state of affairs. Now, I want to be categorically clear. I think Chuma kya Yesu would have approached that situation differently. But I don't know what he was thinking. Simanyi kyabadde mu mutwe gwe at the time. So I cannot determine how he could have responded. The way he responded does not mean that therefore he should be persecuted by his own community. He should be thrown to jail. Yasani, yakubyani. Yabanyiziza, right? Mutemwamunyiziza. Yabanyiziza emotionally. Yes, mutemwamunyiziza. Namwamunyiziza. Kati mwe ngati yabatutte mu jail, ngati yabayitidde police. By the way, after the incident, Pastor Jumba spoke to Chuma kya Yesu nambuuza, are you going to behave? Because if you're not going to behave, wandisaza amagezi n'oddayo. But if you're going to behave, it's okay, you can stay. Chuma kya Yesu namugamba, it's okay, Pastor. Ngenda kusigalawo, I'm going to be fine. Maze kasita okola ki? My message has been received. The guy sat there as a docile good sheep nga talina kyakola. Paka event we yawedde. But amidst that, in fact, nga Kyabazinga ayogera. Amidst the Kyabazinga's speech, the police came. First 3 policemen, then 3 more. 6 policemen came for one black man. Guys, you guys are joking. Musa agane system yawa. Omwana mwagala aleme kuddamu kufuna mulimu. What is wrong with you? Let me show you what happened.
Lukia Isanga Nakadama. Babirye Babalanda. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Kyabazinga the Uganda community here in Canada.
Tulena wano. umutima gukonderera umutwe wo guhuba nakukuba kotatu and I love you esikanga magneti omukwano gwo ngunonya every minute njagala kusakubiri kodi kipate timerinnya yawona kulange njagala kusakubiri kodi kipande
Sure, you should be arrow baby straight to the heart. Ogenda no tunuli danse nesa balala. And slowly I might be falling in love. I will never ever take you for granted. Tu baba biri ne yo joke sereza. You want it on the beat alone ne kombelera. Ononya kamera nga tenza nyina. Walero nino kukulaba. Sebuli tenina chito baby. Omukwano kwendina mugo baby. Sebuli tenina chito baby. My baby pretty pretty like a rose flower. Sebuli tenina chito baby. Omukwano kwendina mugo baby. Sebuli tenina chito baby. My baby pretty pretty like a rose flower. Baby malam, malam, malam uwa kongere ndala. My baby malam, malam, malam uwa kongere ndala.
All right. There's something I want you to watch closely. Now, in all this, we talked, so myself, Pastor Jumba, two of the organizers, who I would like to commend actually, Omwami Moses Isanga, the chair of the lead of the Busoga Cultural Association. I want to commend him. Olwokuba nti nno yagezezaako okukoma ku mutabani we, kubanga mutabani we yakubidde poliisi, mutabani we ne mukyala Viola Kisitu bakubidde poliisi. We try to persuade these people. Netubagamba naye ekintu kiwedde, the guy atudde wansi calming it down. Don't escalate by calling in police. Do not escalate by calling in police. Netwegayira ba guy. They ended up calling the police anyway. And that's what transpired in Mukirabye. Of course, babadde bazenga bamaliride bagenda mutwala. And thank God I was sitting close to him. And I think it was mutima gwangambye bugambi yimuka ogambe bagayi bano bali bemutwala. So nenyumuka nembagamba, you know what? Don't take that guy. Bintu byonna biteredde, no one like tewali mutawana. We are fine. Again. And I want you to watch something very closely. This is in slow motion. Oh, that is me standing up and speaking to the first policeman, who is a white man. I stood up and I introduced myself. Hello, my name is Henry. Everything has been settled. There's no chaos. No one needs to be taken. But, so that was the first intervention. But watch this guy right here, the black guy. So leave the white guy there, but only the black guy, the tall one, the built one. Njogera n'omuzungu guy brother omudugavu nampitako nkitegeera kubanga already yabadde akoze eki doza nga ategedde guy wabaddewo guy Ibra yagezaako balaga ningo balina okutwala. So bwe mmala mba nkyayogera n'omuzungu omuddugavu nampitako naye ndaba nga omuddugavu agenda kukola ki kumukwata mutegeka empingo. Kati look at me closely making a back step. Nabadde nkola back step making sure nti I intervene with the second guy as well. Awo wenayimusiriza bwe nti omukono nga nkuba back step ng'ono maze omulaba mu side ngamba I have to step back and speak to this one as well. Naye nga n'oli ate sagala mpiteko. This is very risky because I would have been arrested as well, by the way. This is very, very risky. It was a risky move. Ibra uyu akomawo Bachima kati ngalaba nkoze interception kati akomawo Bachima.
Omutwe oguba nakwekubako tatu and I love you. Yes.
So that is where now I intervene with the brother. Mukitegeera? Nene mugamba, hey brother, my name is Henry. There's nothing you need to worry about. Everything has been resolved. Nasembera okumpuliza mugamba everything has been resolved.
Kanga magneti omukwano gwo ngunonya every minute njagala kusakubiri body.
Kati omwami gwe mulaba mu kanzu ye taata wa Ibra Mwami Isanga is also the leader of the Busoga community. Era one of the organizers of this event. Omwami ono yabadde yabagambye daba naye don't escalate, temuleeta poliisi, ye mukolo gugenda bulungi maaso. Musajja watu yagezezzaako. Naye nga waliwo ba leaders abalala abatali mindful of what could potentially happen. Kati of course musajja watu naye yabadde ali stressed. Omukolo munene, ebyokola alina bingi. And like, I think, I don't know how big his team is, but I think he had a lot to manage throughout the mukolo. Let's take it. So he approaches us, police. Now, at that time, my colleague, Muwanguzi Amza, naye abadde ayimusinga tandise obagamba ebintu byawedde edda twabiresolvinze edda. We Ugandans, we don't fight among ourselves. Even when we have challenges, we resolve them ourselves. We don't need police intervention. Nkitegeera. Kati awo Mwami Isanga naye najja n'abeegattako n'abagamba I'm the chair of this organizing committee. Everything has been resolved. But if you need more information, tugende wali mu corner mbannyonnyole. So that's where Pastor Jumba also comes in. Pastor Jumba yagenze ne Mwami Isanga in the corner to talk to the police and persuade them to leave.
Sure, you should be arrow, baby, straight to the heart.
Yeah, that's my other colleague Morris Neno's and Enga Bagamba Chechimbana. We don't need the police. We have resolved this. Nothing. We don't need to take him. Anyone. Everything is cool. First of all, Kyabazinga yabadde. Now we are supposed to be listening to the Kyabazinga. Nayenga tulimu police resolving a police situation. Nkitegeera.
Ogenda n'otunuulira nze nesabalala. And slowly I might be falling in love.
That is what happened. Now, to my friends, to my colleagues, my fellow leaders, especially leaders that are responsible for the New African Canadian, you guys are brilliant. I do have a lot of respect for every leader in the New African Canadian, but I must tell you, I was very disappointed in your decision. That's not how we are going to build our community. Azala ekibi akiwongerera. Nze may disagree with a lot of people in the community. Mulaba ntuka kwa extent. Ita police. I have had my own like run-ins with Fred Chinene. Ne Fred Chinene musanga in person, we talk like brothers. I disagree with his ideology. I disagree with his approach to politics. But newe musanga muganda wange. Mkitegeera. Era sisobola kutuula wansi nempandiika letter emutira police even when I disagree with him. And I do disagree with him fundamentally. On so many things, so many fronts. Ask him, mukubire simu omubuuzi. Atula wansi obuuza abantu be disagreeing nabo. Bangi, there are many. Ekirungi omukisa gw'omuyinda nti nze mba nkunyigidde nkubuulira lwakuba kati mmwe mbagambye publicly nalibadde mbakubira amasimu saabakubidde lwakubanga nalabye nga nakigezezaako okwogera nammwe ku mukutu gwammwe nga temukitegeera ninga bano bagayi tebakitegeera nja kitwala ku mukutu gwange. This is the reason why I'm talking to you now. Naye one of these days I think we should have a debrief, a leaders debrief. Ba leaders bonna mu community tusisinkane twogeremu tulabe how to resolve some of these issues. Nekirala bw'obanga organizes omukolo ng'oleeta abantu ba NRM babuulire bagambe you are coming to Toronto. Toronto is hostile to the NRM government. Be mindful what you say. Gwe, you have to understand your audience. If you cannot understand your audience and comprehend what kind of message to deliver among them, these are the issues you are going to find. Kati ba organizers singa babadde babuulidde ba ministers bane, first of all temulese kalecho leader n'omu, temulese kalecho traditional minister n'omu, mwenna muli ba muzeeyi. Mubere mindful of the message. The message yabaddawa. Yeah, these guys are so lazy. Your speech writers are so lazy. But that is a customized message for the Ugandan community. That message you are reading, it's supposed to be read to the foreigners, the white people who do not know what is happening in Uganda. You can lie to them. Then you come and talk to us like you are talking to people in Budadili. Do you think we are in Iganga or whatever? Come on, man. You have to be mindful. That was disrespectful. Now, I disagree with how my brother Chuma responded, but I support his right to express. I will support it to my deathbed. I will be standing side by side with him, defending him. I will be the principal witness. Ate tujja balekayo mu court. You are joking. Tujja balekayo. First of all, you assaulted him. The guy was kneeling down. He ended up in hospital. You guys, be mindful of what you do. Chuma Chayezra is a good citizen. Ntege Chuma Chayezra is a good citizen. Era kyemmanyi even people basaba nabo, they can attest to that. Nzenda tunetine Chuma Chayezra. We had a bottle of wine on the table. Chuma Chayezra n'agamba nze sinywa mwenge. We just mind akumanya nti tagonywa. Yaganye okugonywa. Nkitegeera. So anyway, this conversation is going too long. It shouldn't have taken me 49 minutes or 51 hours to deliver this message. It is a long message because those clips have gone viral and there's a lot to be accountable for, specifically ourselves, Katinga leaders in Toronto. Every single person is disappointed in how I have responded. Every single entity, Yuko, New African Canadian, all of you who are upset. What a Simon Kubide. My phone number is open 416-518-2714. Never worry, just regular Gundi, citizen wa Toronto. Call me, Zesali Henry, 416-518-2714. Twebereremu. I love you guys. And God bless you. Have a good night. This is the state of the nation. Irifa Mwanga. We are deliberate, we are reasonable, we are uncensored. The state of the nation.